Hello everyone, CrystalFissure here. Today I'm here looking at some more Spyro Reignited Trilogy footage. Finally, we have got something more substantial than the clips that we've got in the past on Twitter and the concept art, as great as it's been. Without further ado, let's have a look at the footage and then we'll analyze it a little bit more. So there we go, Stone Hill, looking pretty good. And one thing you may notice is it looks like that Toys for Bob have taken into account some of the feedback, the constructive criticism that has been probably been bombarded with on Twitter and social media about, things not looking like the originals, things looking too washed out and stuff like that. Now I will I'm going to slow down the footage, we're going to look at it a couple times and sort of analyze it, and coming probably in another 12 hours or so, I'll probably do like an actual comparison between PS1 and PS4, which I did with the Insane Trilogy, which I know you guys really enjoyed. So let's have a look at it now a little bit more in depth. So the first thing I'm noticing, everything looks nice and green, even more green than it did originally. In the original pictures we saw of it, it looked a lot more washed out, it looked a lot more yellowy green. This is more of a deep, true artisan's green. And I know that, that may be considered nitpicking, but I think that looking at this now, I see that it is clearly quite important, and it is important to the fans. And obviously I completely recognize, that everyone has a different desire for the games. Everyone wants them to be a little bit, like they remembered as a kid, and that's fine. I think that what they've done here is a really good job, that they've taken into account that, yeah, okay, it's not exactly the same. I love all the different flowers and stuff that you can see around like that. That's not in the original, but they've still made it, to me, it feels still like the original games. I'm a big fan of the shepherds, but we'll look at them properly later. I'm just so damn excited, and I know that you guys can tell that I am, and I know that, yeah, of course there's going to be people out there that are not excited about this. There's going to be people that just do not care and think that it's a disgrace, that they've changed things and stuff like that. But I am just excited about this, and looking at this footage makes me even more. But anyway, let's stop talking about how excited I am. Let's keep analyzing. Now, do you notice the whirlwind in there? Looks very nice and magical. I think it's going to be good. It's going to be good to see that the whirlwinds are returning, of course. We all knew that, but they look nice. I think they look very nice. I'll talk about the gems in a bit as well. You'll notice that when you flame the poor sheep, look, I like to believe that they don't really die. It's like everything here, like they're all good. It's all for the greater good. They all come back after the game. I refuse to believe those sheep die such a brutal death at the hands of Spyro. You have the shepherds there, we're making a really nice stance. Like we originally saw that in the original trailer. We saw the toasty, they were like the toasty shepherds or whatever, and they were very, very cool. But yeah, what I also quite like is, for example, when you flame stuff, see, notice how the floor, whatever it is, what is the word for it? Grass. I'm forgetting the word grass. The grass sort of ignites. It gets reignited, and it can get reignited as well. Yeah, I'm just gonna, by the way, if you guys are bored about this, I'm pretty much gonna go through this footage for probably like 10 minutes. So yeah, that's just a word of warning here, and yeah, slowing it down and stuff like that. One thing I'm not huge on, and I think you guys could probably predict what I'm not huge on, is the gems so far. I'm not huge on them yet, because I haven't seen them as close up. I feel like the original gems do have the edge, because there was something about them that was like, they felt like more solid. These kind of look more like crystallized, and I guess that's probably, realistically, that's more realistic, because obviously PS1, they couldn't do things like as see-through and stuff like that. But I do prefer the original gems. I think that the way they collect them, Sparks looks like he's still picking them up and everything like that, which is great. But yeah, I think that's something, they kind of look a little bit floaty. That's probably my only sort of thing, but maybe they have not completely finished everything yet. As the Toys for Bob developers have said, when addressing some criticism about all the lighting and the colors and stuff, a lot of stuff is not done yet. And hopefully everything gets all done by the September release date. There's realistically, there's not that much time to go. It's only like a couple months. I think it's like 98 days left until this game comes out. So that's pretty crazy. So before I move on and start doing some freeze frame stuff, because we all know that we need every little bit to be analyzed, every single bit. What do you guys think? I'm going to ask you now. I know that I'm sort of asking you in the middle of the video because I want you to sort of reflect on what I've said and sort of, sound like a priest or something. I want you guys to sort of tell me what you think in the comments now before we get to some more of the stuff. So stop what you're doing, pause the video, tell me what you think, and I'll get back to you as well. I'm going to start replying to some more comments again. I've been quite busy recently, but I promised you I will get back to what you guys have to say, positive or negative. This is the first frame of the video that came out. So I actually love this first frame because it actually, the way the camera's panning, it's sort of panning up so we can see all the background stuff that's there. You know, there's a lot of detail, there's a lot of depth in this footage. Like if you were just to show me this piece of, this piece of material, I would be excited, but the fact we got a video is even better. But anyway, what I like about it is one, of course, as I've talked about, the green. I actually like the fact that there's like rock under it, you know, because it's not all perfectly green, because I mean, that's not realistic. And plus you could imply that Gnasty Nork has, turned this place for the worse, you know, because of a, colonization from unwanted foes like the Norks. I zoomed in because I want you to look in the top right corner. Look, the hills in the background, Stone Hill, living up to its name, that's for sure. I love that. I love all the detail there, and I think that when we actually get up onto the hills, we're going to see a lot of cool stuff. I can't wait to see the beach area. That is what's like, I'm super excited about seeing the beach because I think it'll look really pretty in light of all this nice, beautiful color. Then here we are quickly looking at the HUD as well. The HUD, my guess is that it will stay like this all three games. I know that the second and third didn't have the whole like animated thing. I know that that's really cool, but probably back in the day they probably did it because of like RAM constraints or something like that. I would like it to be 3D like the original. I'd like them to just reuse the assets, but I understand they can't. Anyway, looking at this really quickly, that's the explosion animation, and then you can see right here what happens when they all get destroyed. There's like residual stuff that's there, which I think is a good idea, kind of like, the sort of engine makes it, that's able to stay around. Then we got the sheep here, the white sheep, not the black sheep. I wanted to start singing the, what's that black sheep, whatever the song is, yeah. Anyway, there's the sheep, and unfortunately their demise, which again, in canon, I am officially putting forth my idea that they temporarily embarrassed a sheep that will be back alive. Look at the patch of grass that gets burned up as well. It's just, I love that detail. I've talked about that like 3 times now, but I just love it. Then we've got the charging animation, which, looking at it, this is like really slow, but I liked it. Yeah, it's basically kind of changes focus a little bit, which that was funny because Spyro Mortar's Mayhem, the fan game, that one's actually kind of got a similar thing. It's a bit more emphasized, but this is actually really good. I feel like the way they transition this is actually quite well done. So great job there. Then, of course, I like the fact that it also as well, the turning animation, the way Spyro actually turns is very cool, but more I want to focus on that rock up there, which looks cool. I'm overanalyzing to heck now, but I love it. Of course, there as well, look, there's a little chest behind there as well that I want to point out, and then sort of vines, which, I mean, I'm stating the obvious at this point, but you guys know what I'm saying. Basically what I'm saying is I like the attention to detail. I'm looking forward to seeing the fountains as well. The fountains haven't been shown yet, but I think that when they do, they'll look nice. They'll probably be flowing water and stuff. I think that in general with Spyro, with the kind of the water in Spyro 1 especially, because the water is completely different than it is in Spyro 2 and 3 because you can't swim in it. I'm really looking forward to seeing the absolutely wild colors that it's going to be. Like, for example, in the what's the word, like in the third world, in Magic Crafters and stuff like that, it's going to look bizarre. And what about Peacekeepers as well? It's going to look just strange, but in a good way, in a really good way. I hope that they really emphasize that it's just silly how like crazy the water or whatever, the goo that like envelops the Dragon Kingdom, Now here's a quick look at what it originally looked like when we first saw footage. Well, it wasn't actually footage, it was just a picture of the Reignited Trilogy, one of the first pictures released, and notice how it's a lot less green overall. It's a lot more of a yellow, and so it looks like either they've changed it because of the fan interaction, fan criticism or constructive criticism, or they've always decided it and they were always like look at the skybox as well, a lot more subdued. What I do love about this picture though as well is that all the like the trees and stuff like that hanging around, and I think that honestly there's the waterfalls there. I just talked about that in the video before, but yeah, I can't wait to see that flowing. Can't wait to see the whole level in its entirety, in proper full HD. Now the footage, when I downloaded the footage, it said it was 60 frames. I'm not too sure. I cannot confirm whether the game is 30 or 60 frames yet, and that's going to be very interesting for me. For uploading, it's going to be kind of a nightmare because 60 frames, you know, rendering time and stuff like that. But you know, probably it should be, you know, forget me, it should be 60, but we'll see. I'm not too sure yet. We should probably reach out. Someone should probably ask them, but they probably don't even know yet, because I know that, you know, frame rate even nowadays is very much up for debate, you know, what people prefer and what people want and whether people care or not. But anyway, having looked at the footage one last time, just to go over it again, very happy with what I see so far. Some minor nitpicks, of course. I think the gems could look a bit better. I think that, you know, some things, you know, I think some things will come together though. I think that it's not, everything is not done. And I think that in revealing this footage, and same with the stuff, you know, with Misty Bog, what we're seeing is not final. And this is the same with the ends, you know, with the Insane Trilogy. But I think the difference is people really did think that there's no way they would take into account any of the criticism or anything like that. But clearly they have. Clearly, I think that this green, you know, I said just before that maybe it's not, maybe they always had this planned, but maybe they didn't, you know. And look, I'm sounding a lot like Dave Meltzer here. Would they? I don't know what I'm saying. I'm getting to that, you know, that point of the 10-12 minutes where I just start to get absolutely rambly, even more so than usual. But yeah, alright guys, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be back with a comparison footage between PS1 and PS4/Xbox One versions, and maybe Switch, you never know. But that's a whole that is a whole different kettle of fish that we will address later on. Thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you later.